Okay, our next witness is Greg Waltz, Esquire, Chester High School Youth Court. And two youth, Brian Foster and Jamar Saunders. Please come up and take a seat, and there are microphones there. Just make sure that when you speak into the microphone. You push the button on the stand there, and the green light will go on. That will activate your microphone. Mr. Waltz, thank you very much for being here today, and would like to hear your testimony.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the fact that we're having a chance to talk about the work that we've done over the past 3 years. And if it's okay with you, I would like the students to speak first, and then I'll follow up.
Well, absolutely. We'd love to hear from them.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Foster. I'm a founding member of Cheshire Youth Court and currently a executive board member of Cheshire Youth Court. To start off, the Youth Court played an important role in my development as a leader. Before I started Youth Court, helping a fellow student to make better decisions was not on my agenda. Excuse me. Before I started Youth Court, I was more of a knucklehead who was bent on looking out for myself than helping other people. I stayed in trouble most of my life. Getting suspended all the time was normal for me. I always had an I don't care attitude because I did not care about anything or anyone. I was not a social person, and also I had an anger problem that got me into most of the trouble. I found out about Youth Court from a school resource officer by the name of Timothy Jones. At first, I did not want to join Youth Court, but my attitude changed once I was introduced to the goals of Youth Court. I liked how the Youth Court helped students learn from their mistakes instead of just suspending them. The mentality of the students at the school is that because it is so easy to be suspended, it's not a big deal. The students did not care if they were suspended. They didn't want to be at school anyway. Being suspended is more of a treat than a punishment. Instead of suspending students, the Youth Court makes students take responsibility for their actions and realize that their actions affect others. The Youth Court helped me find a talent that I never knew I had. I became more of a social person and more tolerant of other people. I became more helpful, like making sure respondents are doing well with their dispositions, checking up on them in school by just saying hi or asking them how their life is going. I took on these responsibilities before I even became a member of the executive board in Youth Court. Youth Court means a lot to me. I want to be able to give students a second chance like I was given a second chance. Last year, while I was a member of Youth Court, I got into trouble and was almost sent to juvenile detention because a student was being beaten up, and I did not give information to the teachers who stepped in to find out what happened. Although I wasn't involved, I was punished like the other students who were physically involved with the altercation. Luckily, I was given a second chance because being sent to juvenile detention would have changed everything. I would have been put in the same place I was before Youth Court. I would have been angry, and I would have continued to act out towards people because I would not have anything to care about anymore. Basically, it would have put me in a hopeless position. I plan on finishing high school strong by continuing my work with Youth Court, and I want to encourage other students to join Youth Court and make decisions that will benefit them because they have a chance to improve themselves like I did. After graduation, I plan on going to college to become an audio engineer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Jamal?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me testify and share my story today. My name is Jamar Saunders, and I am a founding member of the Chester High Youth Court and a current member of the Executive Board. I had always been a hardworking, straight-A student until 9th grade. When I entered Chester High, high school was very challenging for me because it was hard to adapt to the new social situation I found myself in. My grades fell because of a lack of interest in school and in life. I did not go to class because I was not interested in the subjects that I had to learn about, and that made me bored. I started hanging out with a bad crowd, skipping classes became a bad habit, and quickly my grades fell tremendously in all my classes. The bad crowd was the only group of people who would accept me for who I was. The crowd I was hanging out with was involved in gang-related activity, and school was no longer a priority. Then one day, my friend's parole officer told me to check out a program, which turned out to be the youth court. We were told we would get free computers if we participated in youth court, so I started to participate. After a while participating in youth court, I forgot about the computer because I enjoy youth court so much. My friends left the youth court, but I decided to stay. At first, youth court was difficult because of the different things we had to learn, such as how to question a respondent, and we also had to deal with a lack of student participation. I stayed in youth court because of the lessons youth court taught me. Youth court taught me the importance of education, helped me develop good social skills, helped me develop better leadership skills, and helped me develop my interest in law. Youth court became something that I could own because I had put so much of my time and effort into making it work. Most importantly, I found positive friendship in youth court. I learned how the environment at Chester High School affected how students felt about their community and their education. And youth court also gave me a role to play in my community as a leader. Without youth court, I would probably be roaming the streets still in 9th grade, hanging out with the same bad crowd and not thinking about my future. Now I want to go to college to focus on science, maybe forensic science. By the end of my freshman year, I had a GP of 1.4, and now at the end of my junior year, I have a GPA. I have a 9. I have a 3.9. I plan to continue my work with the youth court my senior year. I want youth court to grow and help more students realize that education is important, and get more students interested in law and change the negative outlook so many students have on law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jamar. Thank you for coming here and presenting your testimony. Mr. Volz.
Thank you. I'm an attorney and a Stoneleigh Center Foundation Fellow. Stoneleigh Center funds research and program development at the intersection of child welfare, juvenile justice, and education. I work in Chester City and train teenagers to operate student-driven youth courts as an alternative to more punitive school discipline. Jamar and Brian are two of the leaders that I've worked with for the past 3 years. I also work closely with the Pennsylvania Bar Association, and I provide assistance to other Pennsylvania school districts. In fact, just yesterday, I spent a fair amount of time helping the people that run the Arise Academy in downtown Philadelphia, which they tell me is the only high school in the country which limits its enrollment to foster kids. And they are applying for a huge federal grant with the youth court as the centerpiece of their work. And they asked me if I would help them think about and draft certain language for that. So although I'm in Chester City, I also work in other parts around the state. I've been contacted by a high school in the Pittsburgh area as well. There are no youth courts in Pennsylvania. I mean, in Pittsburgh. And as a matter of fact, this is a great time to kind of interject something. I was asked this last week at the House committee hearing. There's about 1,200 youth courts in the United States, and there's 15 in Pennsylvania. Of the 15 in Pennsylvania, we think about 10 or 11 are juvenile justice based, which means they're in some way part of the juvenile justice system as an alternative program, and only 3 or 4 are school based.